Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel, that is the R in the RK Stumblingbear, and I'm a reader and a writer. And I am now back to talk about my favorite female characters in fantasy and science fiction. And these are in no particular order. I'm going to start with Manoli in the Harper Hall trilogy. This is a young woman who ends up imprinting with 9 little dragonettes. Forgetting what they're called in the world. Oh, fire lizards. They're called fire lizards. I had to look it up. Something I loved about Manoli is she comes from a big family who are more on the edge of society, not in a criminal fashion. They're hardworking, honest folk, but they live a harder life. And she is blessed with the gift of music, and her family has absolutely no idea what to do with this. Because for them, that's not what women are supposed to do. And I really enjoyed Manoli's journey through the trilogy, where she comes to accept herself. Even though she loves her family, she then also gets to create her own found family, and she finds the strength to be different. It's okay to do something different than what your family expectations are. And I just really love that growing up. Next, I have a side character in the cast or the Chronicles of Elantra series. Her name is Tila, or she goes by Tila. Full name is Antila. She's a Barani, which is basically an immortal fae creature in this secondary fantasy world. She has already lived for centuries, and right now she finds the main character, Kaylin, in this series interesting because Kaylin is not boring. That's typically how Tila denotes whether or not she likes her. She's not boring. I like that even though Antila has lived for centuries, she knows she's within the politics of her Brani caste, is what they call it. They use caste for the different races. She is a lord in that world, but she has decided to become a hawk, which is basically a police officer. And that's how Kaylin, the main character, has met her, is as Kaylin is like the mascot of the office. Tila kind of looks out after her. Now that Kaylin is herself a police officer, Tila's not her partner, but they're still friends, and it's fun to see Tila work with Kaylin. Many times she's like, oh, here are the rules and this is how the structure works, and Kaylin's like, great, I kind of feel like I should do this, and Tila's like, all right, I'm gonna make sure you don't kill yourself, but go for it, kind of thing. And I love that friend dynamic. And then we have Alana, who is probably one of the most influential female characters of my teenagehood. And I think that's just because I found her at just the perfect time when I needed her. Getting to have Alana, who is a woman who says, yes, I define myself, was pivotal for me as a teenager. To the point of fact that I know exactly who I am today. I don't have to question that. And yeah, I still define myself, just like Alana did. Proof that books help us to make sense of the world around us. So Erin from The Hero and the Crown was another heroine that I met in my teenage years. And I think that this is a good representation of how you can be born into privilege and still not feel connected to those around you. And you still have to make your own place in the world. For me, that's why Erin was so pivotal when I was a teenager, because as a teenager, you're trying to figure out who you are. Now I have someone who's just from fiction. I have Anne of Green Gables. This, plucky little orphan helped me realize how much, in a family you can choose to love one another and you can work with one another, and how given the right circumstances and right opportunities, you can grow and develop. I mean, Anne was an orphan who didn't have a bright future ahead of her before Marilla and Matthew adopted her. And then even then, Marilla and Matthew could have been like, no, you're a farm child. This is what you're going to do. But instead, they did see her potential and they helped her grow into that. All right, so sliding into a little more sci-fi, I have Kelar Vata in Trading Danger by Elizabeth Moon. This is a military space opera sci-fi. And in this, we follow Kylar as she's kicked out of a space cadet academy for pretty species reasons. But we then get to see her go back to her family, who are space merchants, and they set her up on a ship, and she gets to go out and use her knowledge of being a merchant, because that's how she grew up, as well as also her knowledge of being from the academy in the danger that she has at the very beginning. And I really like Kylara, how she's dealt a bad hand, but she is able to use her training from her whole life, from all of her experiences, to move forward. And then I have Miriam Mops Adamopoulos from from the Janitors of the Post-Apocalypse. And this is a fun trilogy by Jim Hines where humanity has gone feral. That's what you know in the first book. And this alien species collective has come and they have been able to reverse some of the feralness. So some of the humans now are back in their right mind and are grateful and part of this space collective now as soldiers. And they're actually considered the most fearsome soldiers in the universe. Marion, who goes by Mops, and everyone gets to choose their own name according to history. So names that you might traditionally think of as male might be on somebody who is female. And Marion is in charge of the sanitation on this big battle cruiser. So plumbing, someone pukes in the hallway, she's gonna be part of the crew that goes and cleans it up. And while her crew is taking care of an incident, they're all in hazard suits, safe environments. Something happens and all the human crew become feral again, and they attack the other aliens that are on this ship. And Marion's sanitation crew does not become feral, and they now have to figure out what's going on and how do they deal with their crewmates who just hours ago were their friends. And this is a very fun space opera romp, especially as you look at somebody who very much uses their knowledge of their trade in solving problems. I think I really have a theme. A lot of the characters I like or that really stick with me are those who use their own experiences to solve the problems when they're put into situations that they might not have necessarily planned on. I believe in the resiliency of our human species. I would love to know some of your favorite characters from fiction. Please let me know down below. And if you've read any of these books and disagree with me, I would love to know as well. Thank you and have a great day.